I'd like to begin this video by stating that I have purchased and played Madden for more years than I can even remember. Normally, as a consumer, you have the ability to choose from a spectrum of products for the one that you like the most. However, unfortunately, the NFL has a contract with EA, making it the only company that can use the league's likeness for their game. So yearly, of course, the game developers know that they are working on a product that only they are licensed to make. As Aviator Gaming tweeted, I agree that the NFL needs to drop EA. If 2K had the rights to produce NFL simulation games, things would be so different. Allowing EA to have a monopoly on NFL simulation games is criminal. They don't care. And he is absolutely right, in my opinion. EA does not care because they know that they're still going to have the people like myself who are going to buy their games, and not because they expect it to be better in any way, but because they love football and they want to be able to relax and play football, and it is the only game that they are able to buy. David Smith tweeted at NFL, charge the same licensing fees to anyone who wants to produce a football game and let the free market dictate who sinks or swims. If EA had competition, this year's Madden would have sold 0 copies. It is that bad. Being associated with EA is damaging your brand. Hashtag NFL drop EA. These tweets could not be more on point with what we are having to deal with as Madden fans. Unfortunately, this is how it's been for us for the past few years. So in order to really show why us football fans are frustrated with Madden, I wanted to make this video, and while Madden 20 had so many flaws, it was almost a challenge even finding out where to start. I figured why not start with the actual literal on-field gameplay. Now, before diving into this, I want to make it clear that the gameplay was actually one of the most questionably competent aspects of this game, in my opinion. I have organized this video in terms of the things that made this game slightly frustrating to things that made the game absolutely pretty much unplayable. So if you believe that any of the clips you're about to see are bad, just wait until the end of the video, because then you will really realize why it is that Madden fans are upset with the product that they have received for the past few years. So, I set up a game between the Las Vegas Raiders and the Arizona Cardinals, set the quarter length to the league standard 15 minutes, and set the game style mode to simulation, which Madden defines as play true to player and team ratings, with authentic NFL rules and gameplay. Well, let us be the judge of how authentic this gameplay really is. Naturally, it only takes Madden 2 plays to provide us with the first real facepalm moment of this game. Take a look.
Now Murray throwing on second down.
So, as you just saw, the play was meant to be a pass play, but the Raiders defense had that covered, so Kyler scrambles, has a lead blocker, and let's take a look at how well this lead blocker does his lead blocking job.
Sliding out of the... And right away!
If you've ever played Madden, you're probably pretty familiar with the fact that lead blockers, like Max Williams in this case, typically do not do anything when it comes to the open field. They just allow the ball carrier to get tackled, and in this case, Kyler Murray fumbles, something that he really only did 3 times in 2019.
He lost the football, and the Raiders pick it up, and they will take over at the 29-yard line.
Here's another clip of essentially the same problem with the lead blockers in open space, except for this time the ball carrier is Josh Jacobs, and Josh Jacobs does not like being tackled. So the outcome is a little bit different.
Take the contract time if this continues. They'll begin on the ground with Jacobs. He can't get him down. Solid.
The Raiders have one of the best O-lines in the league, but the amount of time that a quarterback has to throw the ball in Madden is absolutely unrealistic. Now, the Raiders gave Derek Carr last season an average of 2.5 seconds to throw the ball, but in Madden, he has a little bit longer than that. Let's take a look.
Shotgun now for Carr. Able to find Waller. That's complete.
So I counted about 10 Mississippi seconds, and while it may be possible that an O-line gives a quarterback 10 seconds to throw the ball, it is extremely uncommon, and in Madden, it happens every other few plays. Like, for example, in this clip that I got from a totally different game. Take a look at how much time the Cardinals O-line, which we know in reality allowed Kyler Murray to get sacked 48 times in 2019. Take a look at how much time they give Kyler Murray to throw the ball.
But now they got to get ready. It's 1st and goal. Back to throw. And this is caught. A play for the 8.
And while watching the Cardinals win the Super Bowl would be one of the happiest moments of my life, even me as a Cardinals fan can acknowledge that Kyler Murray having 12 seconds to throw a football is absolutely unrealistic. Continuing with the trend of unrealistic things in Madden, take a look at what Kyler Murray decides to do when he gets an open field ahead of him in this clip.
Through it, gave up no yardage, and people got credit for tackles. Pretty good deal.
He may try and run for this.
Obviously, according to Madden, the most important thing you can do when you are 2 yards in front of the defender is juke back into them so that way you can get tackled. If you believe that this was an isolated incident and this never really occurs in Madden, take a look at this next play.
Throwing on 1st down is Murray. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
Of course, any quarterback in the NFL would have made the easy decision to run directly into the defender rather than taking the 5-yard gap between the left tackle and left guard in order to get a few yards on the ground. So let's take a look at what Madden would consider a realistic outcome for our 60-minute matchup between the Cardinals and the Raiders. Derek Carr had an amazing day against the Cardinals with a QBR of 145, 416 passing yards on an 88% completion rate with 5 touchdowns to only 1 interception. Darren Waller, Henry Ruggs III, and Nelson Aguilar all eclipsed over 100 yards, and the only thing more unrealistic than 3 receivers on the same team all eclipsing over 100 yards each is Nelson Brickhands Aguilar actually having 6 receptions in one game. Not only did the Cardinals give up 416 passing yards, but they also allowed rookie running back Josh Jacobs, who I'm not going to deny is an amazing running back, to have 218 rushing yards alongside 2 touchdowns. And in addition to demolishing the Cardinals offensively, the Raiders, specifically Max Crosby, sacked Kyler Murray 4 times, which, although Max did set the rookie Raiders record when he got 4 sacks against the Bengals in Week 11 of his rookie campaign, we all know that it is extremely uncommon to see a player get 4 sacks in a game. However, unfortunately in Madden, on 15-minute quarters, it is something you can see every other game. Another thing that you'll see far too commonly in Madden is mobile quarterbacks fumbling the ball every other rushing play. In this game, for example, Kyler Murray had 2 rushing fumbles when in reality in 2019, Kyler Murray only had a total of 3 fumbles. This is something you'll see all the time, and while it is a little bit frustrating, it is hardly the most pressing issue that Madden faces today. Nonetheless, as mentioned earlier, the gameplay for the most part is acceptable. There are glitches, it is frustrating sometimes, but overall it isn't the gameplay that people are most frustrated about when it comes to Madden. Then we get to the franchise mode. Aside from the fact that it has been virtually unchanged for the past few years, Madden has failed to fix one very specific aspect of this mode: the trade logic. So in order to really demonstrate how totally realistic these trades are, I started my brand new franchise and chose the 82 overall Raiders, made a custom motivator coach, accepted the computer-generated name and look, and started my league. So, seeking to improve my team as any new coach would, I get straight to sending out some trade offers. The first player I wanted to get rid of was 74 overall cornerback Nevin Lawson, and as you can see in the top left corner, the color marker is an indication of what the team's interest level is. So I simply find a team, like the Giants, that has interest, and then start seeing which player to trade for. The New York Giants did not have any players that would really have been appropriate for trade, so back at looking for interested teams, but just about as quickly as the Madden developers finish in bed, Juan Blanco trades 74 overall cornerback Nevin Lawson for the Jaguars' 84 overall linebacker Telvin Smith. Now, I don't know if the Jags are just really reaching to replace Ramsey or if they felt really bad for the new head coach and lobbed him an irresistible offer, but either way, this was a great start to my career. Far from satisfied, however, we went back to the trading board, and just like that, Juan Blanco trades 75 overall wide receiver Zay Jones for the Redskins' 84 overall linebacker Ryan Kerrigan. The Seahawks showed high interest in right end Clelin Ferrell, who, to be fair, in my opinion, is slightly underrated in this game. However, we won't even begin to talk about ratings in this video because that'll have to be saved for a whole nother time. Nonetheless, I begin to shop around for who the Seahawks would consider to be a suitable trading partner, and they for some reason decide that giving us 84 overall left tackle Dwayne Brown would be a fair offer. With the very generous offer from the Seahawks, we are then able to trade our old left tackle Colton Miller, who, with the pairing of 67 overall linebacker Kyle Wilbur, we were able to trade for 86 overall defensive tackle Linval Joseph. And after just a few more trades, I was ultimately able to trade away 74 overall cornerback Nevin Lawson, 75 overall wide receiver Zay Jones, 74 overall right end Cleveland Farrell, 67 overall linebacker Kyle Wilbur, 73 overall left tackle Colton Miller, 69 overall quarterback Marcus Mariota, 79 overall defensive tackle Marquise Hurst, 79 overall tight end Jason Witten, and a 2020 5th round pick for 84 overall linebacker Telvin Smith, 84 overall linebacker Ryan Kerrigan, 84 overall left tackle Dwayne Brown, 86 overall defensive tackle Linval Joseph, 88 overall tight end Evan Ingram, 85 overall defensive tackle Vita Vea, and a 2021 Washington football team first round pick. Quickly and very easily improving my team overall from 82 to 85. It is a shame how effortless it is to really improve your lineup, and I've only shown a few trades, and imagine how stacked your roster could be by the end of the trade deadline. This is something that people have been begging Madden to fix and has fallen on deaf ears. If by now you don't believe me that Madden's trade engine is broken, take a look at some of these trades. In order to get 87 overall Aaron Jones, all I had to give up was Tanner Vallejo, Andy Isabella, and a 5th round pick. In order to get Von Miller on my team, all I had to give up was Andy Dalton, Banana, and a 7th round pick. In order to acquire one of the league's best guards in Quentin Nelson, all the Niners had to give up was Nick Mullins and Ronald Blair III. And this was probably the trade that made me realize how bad Madden was. The Saints acquired 89 overall Marlon Humphrey, one of the league's best cornerbacks, for Kiko Alonso. What does that say about your game? Not to undermine him, but I don't even think Bill O'Brien would make a trade like this. And to be fair to him, he has to face actual competition. Madden is the only NFL football game you could buy. And somehow they managed to get it wrong every single year. And while the gameplay may be bad, and the trade engine may be worse, there is something even worse than that. If you go to thesportsjournal.com, TSJ_gaming has brilliantly outlined 58 features so far that Madden has taken out of the game. These are things that we used to be able to do, but no longer can, due either to EA's lack of interest or clear exploitation of the fact that there will always be a demand for this game. And with them being the only company permitted to provide that, they queef out whatever football game and feel accomplished for themselves, like they actually did something. Madden used to have mid-season Pro Bowl voting, preseason position battles. You could modify your stadium. Now we can't even charge for valet or price our own glizzies. Madden, we are not asking for you to do more. We are asking for you to do less. Do what you've done years ago and stop whatever it is that you're doing now. Fred Know My Name tweeted out a 1 minute and 28 second video of things that used to be in Madden and we used to love and enjoy, which have now been taken out of the game. Which is ironic because EA's entire slogan is EA, it's in the game, but in reality, it's more like EA, it's been taken out of the game. And then of course you have people like Live on That Swing who tweeted, I don't entirely understand how you can expect them to put this level of depth in during a 9-month dev cycle. Like, yeah, current Madden is shallow, but this is asking a lot. And that's the thing. I don't think that anybody actually expects EA to bring back all of the things that made Madden enjoyable. But at least starting with a few of them would really make sense. Despite Madden being an absolutely awful representation of actual NFL football, I will not allow EA's incompetence to stop me from doing what I love doing. So, on this channel, I will be uploading weekly Madden simulations. I will be doing mostly Arizona Cardinals and Las Vegas Raiders, but if I do have a little bit of extra time, I will consider doing other games. So, if that sounds like something you are interested for the upcoming NFL season, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, unlike the Madden team, I am actually interested in hearing what you have to say, so feel free to leave a comment below, or you can follow me on my strictly sports-related Twitter at PibaSports, at PIBA Sports. Also, if you enjoyed this video, leave a thumbs up. If you're a Madden developer, the thumbs down is the button right next to it. If you happen to be a Madden developer and you somehow stumbled across this video, the next part is for you.
An open letter to the Madden development team. Who the fuck are you hiring to produce this game? Is it the same group that has worked on the previous Madden titles? Or are you somehow managing to exclusively hire dumb fucks to be a part of the team? It's time to scrap whoever the fuck y'all got in office and start from fresh. Likewise, take the code that you have been using for the past 5 Maddens and delete it. Start from fresh with that shit too. Also, who the fuck is Ty Stover? And why did he go on Twitter talking about how your consumers are clowns who think changes occur at the snap of fingers? Is this dude smoking battery acid? What was it about him that deemed him the most qualified candidate for the position of player relations? Because if his job is to build relations with people, he should really consider unprivating his Twitter so he can properly elaborate about what he meant in this tweet. Because if he is trying to imply that your consumers are impatient, he should probably get familiar with the inside of his nearest mental health facility because we have waited over 10 years, cunt. Also, who the fuck is responsible for the player ratings and have they considered retirement? What the fuck do you guys actually spend your time doing throughout the year that you are supposed to be working on Madden? When can we actually expect a competent football game to be released? Or is it naive of me to even believe it will ever come? Why? That's it. Just why? How do you manage to sleep at night? Do you sleep well? How is it possible to be so grossly incompetent at the one thing that is supposed to be your job? How do none of you have enough of a backbone to even address the fact that thousands of people are slandering your game? If somebody came at me for something I worked on, I would do my best to address any concerns they had. How cowardly do you have to be to not even acknowledge the deficiencies in your game? Individually, how do you not quit? I understand your bills do not care about the quality of the game you are producing, but as a human being, how can you stand to look yourself in the mirror knowing you are a part of EA? Have you ever been loved? Blink twice if you are being held hostage. Love yourself enough to leave this sorry-ass company. Do better.
To finally conclude this video, I want to take a moment of silence for the poor kid whose father was a Madden developer and whose mother sold nudes on OnlyFans. Terrible fucking game. Awful, awful fuck.